I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are speaking with Dr. Stephen Peterson about his amazing book, T-28, How Charlie, his great-great-grandfather, and Supermax Saved the World. It is a thrilling story that combines climate science and science fiction to inspire young readers to think about the future of our planet. We'll delve into the plot of the book, the characters, the underlying message about the urgent need to address climate change. We're delighted to have Dr. Peterson join us here today on Spotlight. Thank the team at Authors Reputation Press for helping us put the doctor in the spotlight today, and ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Doctor, thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you very much for having me.
I love your book, really captures the imagination. The title alone, if I were a kid, would make me want to read it because it's kind of fun to say. T-28, How Charlie, his great-great-grandfather, and Supermax Saved the World. How'd you come up with that title anyway?
Well, one night I woke up and I was walking in the hallway a few years ago after the grandchildren were coming along, and I thought to myself, what's the best way to try to convince people to improve our climate? And through a story is what I thought. And then I thought, well, what's a good story? Well, how about if we got someone like the great-great-grandchild that I'm worried about, come back from the future and talk to somebody who has a lot of influence these days and see if they could persuade them to change to a different position on clean energy. And that's how I came up with it.
Well, it was a great idea. I love the idea of time travel and mixing real science with science fiction. I think it's really imaginative. Now, you're a psychiatrist. What role did your work mind play with your creative mind when you were penning this book?
Well, I wanted to try to tell a story, a respectful story, to try to reach across the aisle and persuade people who might not agree with this idea that the climate is changing and extreme weather is coming, because there's a lot of politics that's going on right now, and there's a lot of doubt about science and things like that. This actually has been going on for many years, and I wanted to try to see if I could reach across the aisle and with a story, and actually, if I wrote it to children who are trying to learn more about these kind of things, and if their parents were reading it, well, both of them would start to have a discussion about it. That's really what I wanted to do. And we know that the best way to really get folks thinking in families about this is the children will start to talk with the parents, and that's kind of who I was reaching out to. Yeah.
Absolutely. Getting the kids to initiate that conversation with the parents. Hey, mommy, hey, daddy, is this real? You know, is our planet in jeopardy if we don't change our ways? I think that's a great conversation to compel with your book, no doubt. Tell me a little bit about the writing process for you. Was this the first time writing a children's storybook?
Indeed, it was. Yes.
Did that present any challenges?
Well, actually, it was a lot more work than I thought, but I kind of wanted to tell the story, and I had some suggestions from a couple friends at church and so forth. And actually, another fellow helped me with some of the phrasing and things. He kind of a co-author, and he helped me with the first edition of it, which is a different one than this one. But then I went to Author Reputation Press, and they helped me redo it in a much more lively way.
Right.
Beautiful pictures and things like that. And even little babies like to look at the pictures. I've given this book to some of my friends, and they have little babies, and the babies like to look at the pictures.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. What was the reaction of your own grandchildren when they saw Grandpa had written this book?
Oh, they loved it. And so did my children and my grandchildren. It was fabulous. Yeah, they were the ones who were the inspiration for me. My grandchildren, when they were coming along, I thought, I've got to do something to try to do what I can to help. And I know that if we all start working together, we can really make a difference. So
Right.
this was one way that I could do it.
Are you encouraged or discouraged or neutral at this point about how we are challenging climate change?
I'm very encouraged.
Mhm.
I know that if people get involved, I'm involved with a group of over 750 psychiatrists right now called the Climate Psychiatry Alliance. We've
Mhm.
we've grown from in the last 5 years from a few to 750, and I'm on the steering committee. I've become very, very impressed at how much we can do. Uh, and I started studying about it 6 years ago, and I got alarmed. And then I started working with the Climate Psychiatry Alliance and other organizations. And now I know that we have a real chance to make this world a beautiful world for all of our children and grandchildren if we just get to work at it and be serious about it. Um,
Abs-
even
Absolutely. It's often said that children are the future. So I guess that's why you decided to target the young audience with this book.
That's true, they are. And now, a new study has come out from Yale that said that 2/3 of Americans are really are worried about climate change, moderately worried about climate change. Well, that means that we've really moved the needle. A lot of people didn't used to be worried about it. They think, well, it's not that big of a deal. I used to think myself, there's plenty of trees out there to make oxygen. I don't have to worry about CO2. Oh, yes, we do
Yeah,
need to worry about it. And that's what the book is about. It talks about how these invisible gases, particularly CO2, act like a blanket around the world. And that's what's responsible for the warming.
absolutely. Are you thinking about writing any more books for children to help shape their future?
I've got another one in mind, and I would like to work with my wife on that. She wants to help me with it, with the idea of yes, maybe another Back from the Future book. We'll see.
Great, great. Well, I love the science fiction twist to your book, so I think that would be a great component in your newest book. Have you visualized this as a movie or a series at all for children? I remember years ago we had Captain Planet, if you recall that series, and there hasn't been much in between when it comes to climate change and children. That's the only one I can remember.
I would love it if this could be into like a movie, uh, even a serious movie.
Hmm.
Gosh, even an adult movie for
Yeah.
that matter, because it's a kind of intriguing story about a super computer robot that happens to be so smart. It's the smartest robot computer in the world that could figure out how to do time travel.
Hmm.
And this boy is all worried about terrible storms that are happening in his world in 2080, and his parents are studying it, and he says, isn't there something we can do? And the robot says, yeah, let's go back and talk to your great great grandpa, who
Hmm.
happens to be a very influential individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a terrific story, and like I said, it's extremely imaginatively told. Tell me a little bit about the illustrations. That's something you mentioned that your publisher helped you with. Did you actually? How did you collaborate with your illustrator and get that vision that you wanted for the story?
Well, I talked to my main contact person, Katniss Megan at Reputation Press, and
Mhm.
she I think her son even devised the a cover. She and whoever she involved in this made a beautiful job of the characters. It just made it so much more friendly and fun. And it was their idea to make the robot computer that's so brilliant into a number called T20 T53.
T28.
I mean T28.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm nervous, so I can't
Oh,
remember.
no worries, no worries.
But T28 was it's kind of a nice way to say it, but it's about how Charlie, his great great grandfather, and and Supermax, the T28 computer, saved the world. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful book. It is highly
Well,
recommended.
thank you so much for saying that.
Oh, my pleasure. And to the folks at home, you can get this book online. You can download it to a Kindle, or my suggestion is to actually get a physical copy so you can enjoy these wonderful illustrations with your children. It'll spark conversations. Perhaps they'll question you in ways you've never thought about, and perhaps you'll question them in ways that'll get their young minds thinking. And as we said earlier in this interview, the children are the future. Teach them well, and they will lead the way.
You may not have noticed, but for every book that is purchased, we'll plant a tree.
Wonderful. Much needed. I wish we would also focus on the oceans too. Being down here, I spend my winters down in Tampa, Florida, along the Clearwater Beach area. And every year now we get such a terrible red tide. And this is part, and it smells, and beautiful Florida with its gorgeous Gulf beaches and its beautiful Atlantic beaches, they're being destroyed. I mean, so I praise you, and I'm appreciate the work you've done in addressing this, because it's a real threat. No matter where you lie on the political aisle, too many things these days are politicized. There are things that are right, and there are things that are wrong. Giving us the cleanest air possible is going to make us not only a healthier planet, but healthier individuals, right?
Yes, indeed. And we need to love our earth and take care of it just as much as we love our family, because the earth will take care of us if we take care of it.
Absolutely. The name of the book, once again, is T28, How Charlie, His Great-Great-Grandfather, and Supermax Saved the World. It is terrific. I can't wait to see this in film form as well. And Dr. Peterson, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
The pleasure is all mine, sir. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight, and remember, save the planet.